Hi everyone, we're looking at page 11 today where you're asked to draw an ionic bonding diagram for lithium fluoride. Now I've uploaded this page, the periodic table as you know it, but I've added on some annotations so you can see for group 1 I've added on 1 plus, group 2, 2 plus, 3, 3 plus. I've skipped over group 4. For group 5 I've got 3 minus, group 6 is 2 minus, and group 7 is 1 minus. Now you'll notice that group 0 doesn't have a charge. These are the noble gases, this group, okay? So this is very stable. The noble gases are very stable. They don't react, so we don't worry about them with bonding because they actually don't bond. So we actually can just forget about this group, okay? You'll also notice though that the transition metals don't have a charge above them, and that's because of this word transition that they have. And the word transition means that they can change. So they're the transition metals. They can change, so their charge sometimes can change. So you shouldn't be asked about them. You're only going to be asked about the ones that I have labelled. Now on page 11, they ask you for lithium fluoride. Okay, now that there then you should notice is made up of lithium, which is in group 1, and it's made up of fluorine in group 7. Now the important number here for you is the bottom number. If you look at lithium, the bottom number is 3, and if you look at fluorine, the bottom number is 9. And the bottom number tells us the number of electrons. So looking at that alone, I can make the statement that lithium has got 3 electrons because the atomic number is 3, and fluorine has got 9 electrons in it. Now, that's telling me the number of electrons when they are atoms, okay? At the moment, these are atoms. But we are going to change them into ions, and then that's going to form an attraction, which is the bond, okay? The bond isn't anything fancy. All you do here is form ions, and then they join together because they're attracted, because opposites attract, okay? So lithium starts with 3 electrons, fluorine starts with 9 electrons. By looking at the annotation that I've put in at the top, we can see that lithium is going to form a 1 plus ion, and fluorine is going to form a 1 minus ion. So that's really important. We're going to add that on. So this is really important to remember for the next step, okay? Now, to do the actual ionic bonding diagram, what you want to do first is you want to draw the atoms first. So you've worked out you need lithium and you need fluorine, and you've worked out that lithium has got 3 electrons, fluorine has got 9. So you want to start off doing that. So just put lithium's symbol in the middle of the diagram and working out, if you look at the sheet, remember, it's in period number 2, so it's got 2 shells, and it's got 3 electrons that we've said already. Lithium's a metal, it's on the left-hand side of the periodic table, so I'm going to draw its electrons with an X. I always draw the metals with an X and the non-metals with a dot, okay? And then it's called a dot and cross diagram because you've drawn dots and crosses, okay? So there's lithium, 3 electrons, 2 shells, and then drawn fluorine. I've got an F in the middle. Fluorine is also in period 2, so it's only got 2 shells, but it's got 9 electrons. So remember, you have got 2 in the first shell, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the next shell. Okay, and you can see that then we have this rule. And remember, the rule is that metals always lose their outer electrons. Okay, they always lose their outer electrons. And I'm going to move that there so we just have it. Okay, they always lose their outer electrons. And then the opposite then, non-metals, if I can find the right button, non-metals, they always fill the outer shell with extra electrons. So that's the main rules there. Metals will always lose their outer electrons, and non-metals fill the outer shell with extra electrons. So if you look at lithium, you can see there is 1 electron in the outer shell. Fluorine needs 1, okay? Now beforehand when you were just working out ions, you were saying that this was just being lost, okay? But now we look at bonding and go, well, this doesn't really happen alone. So what actually happens is that this electron doesn't just get lost, it actually moves. And this electron moves over and fills up fluorine, so they work together. So lithium's outer electron is lost and it's given to fluorine. So that's the first half of your diagram. Then what you do, so that should be the top half of your page, you draw an arrow to show what's being formed. Okay, so draw that to show what's being formed. And then you want to draw your ions below that. Okay, so you're showing the different diagram now. So lithium's lost that outer shell electron, so we no longer draw the outer shell. So we now just draw it with 1 shell. Okay, and we draw it with the 2 remaining electrons that it has. But to show that it's an ion, we also have to put in square brackets. Okay, you've got to do that to show that it's an ion, and you've got to put on its charge. Now, if you look back at the periodic table that we looked at earlier, lithium's in group 1, so it forms a 1+ ion. So you put a plus up there at the top. If you look at fluorine then, fluorine still has 2 shells. So you've got your F in the middle, you've got your 2 shells, and then you have got your electrons in. So you've, remember, 2 on the first shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have the extra electron that came from lithium. Okay, and you want to draw it as the X. You don't want to draw that as a dot because you want to show that you know that that came from lithium. You want to draw your square brackets again, and then you want to look at your charge. So go back over to your periodic table, look at your exam sheet. Fluorine, remember, was in group 7. My wee cheat says it becomes a 1-, so it becomes a 1-. And that's your diagram. And the reality is, a plus and a minus are opposites, so they attract. So these just forming their ions is the bond, because these are attracted together. They've reacted together. One has given electrons, one has received, and so they have formed ions together. And this attraction here that we can't see, it's actually invisible, it is the ionic bond. And that there is your diagram. So this whole bit over here, if I show you this whole bit over to the right hand side, that's what you're drawing on each time that you do this. Okay, so have a go there working with mine for page 11. Page 12 is different. You're going to have 1 calcium and you're going to have 2 fluorides. So I'll do a video of it that'll be much quicker than this one. I'm just going to draw it, okay? And then on the next example, magnesium oxide, I want you to do it yourself. Okay? Have fun. Talk to you later. Bye, bye, bye.